We begin with the demand for change in Anaheim over how city council members are elected.
Latino activists insist the city needs district elections, but the current city council majority is standing strong against those demands in an ongoing lawsuit aimed at forcing change. Reporter David Nazar joins us with the latest. David?
Yeah, Ed and Ann, Anaheim is an at-large voting city. The American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit on behalf of Latino activists in Anaheim to get the city to change to district-based voting like most other big cities throughout California have. They say district-based voting is really the only way to ensure minority communities are represented on the council. Now, at the last Anaheim City Council meeting, the majority again rejected district elections, opting instead to place what's called residency requirements for council candidates on the June 2014 ballot for citywide vote. That measure has drawn scorn from one of Anaheim's most prominent residents, the mayor. Last year, Latino activists sued the city of Anaheim, claiming the city was in violation of the California Voting Rights Act because Anaheim does not use a district-based voting system. In our exclusive interview, Anaheim Mayor Tom Tait says the city could be doing something illegal. And by the mayor's own admission, it wasn't an easy thing to divulge, given the fact the city is in litigation with the ACLU and stands to lose millions of dollars if it loses the case. The city has already spent hundreds of thousands in defending that lawsuit. Is your city breaking the law with continuing to have at-large voting?
I'm very concerned about that. And I know that other cities that have faced this with the law have all settled.
By them settling says what?
Them settling is that other cities recognized that they were in violation of the law.
Mayor Tait says he wants to try and effect change in his city, and part of the way to start is to change over to district-based voting and do away with the at-large system that's been a part of the city's charter for decades.
It gives people a voice. That's well said. With at-large, the power is not with the people. It's with because it takes so much money. It's with people who can supply that money, which are special interest, unions, big business, things like that. There is tremendous pressure from special interest to keep the at-large system. And that keeps money very powerful in Anaheim City Council races. That's why districting is so important. It brings the power to the people.
Anaheim City Councilwoman Chris Murray is part of the council majority, which recently voted for the ballot measure to enact residency requirements.
We implemented a plan that will allow for residency-based districts to take effect immediately by ordinance, and adopted two measures to put on the next ballot in the June primary that will ratify that and allow the voters an opportunity to vote on a residency-based district election system.
It seems like that could just be semantics. Why not just win in the court of public opinion, get the ACLU off your back and say, hey, let's go to district-based voting. Let the citizens decide.
We are allowing the citizens to decide. That's the best part. We're putting a plan in place that implements districts immediately and giving them the opportunity to vote on them to make it a permanent structure change to how we govern in Anaheim.
ACLU attorney Bartis Fakili calls the council majority's ballot measure a joke, especially in a city that has more than half its population Latino, a population that Fakili says is underrepresented partly because of the current voting system.
Well, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing is what it is. It's the same system. It doesn't change the way votes are cast. It doesn't change the way votes are counted. And it doesn't change the expense of having to run a citywide campaign. All it does is change the requirements for a candidate to run for city council. It's still an at-large system, and it still has the same effect on the Latino community.
Mayor Tait agrees.
They voted for a system proposed by Councilmember Murray that might look like some sort of districting system. What it says is, hey, we're going to keep the at-large system, but we're going to require that council members actually live in certain districts. That it disperses the people around the city, but it's still an at-large system.
The ACLU doesn't govern in Anaheim. The City Council does, and we make those decisions for our residents. I know the mayor and the ACLU are aligned on this issue. Our residents have spent a year studying all of the elections models that are available to the city and legally viable elections models in the state of California. They came back with recommendations. We already have a successful track record in our history. As our demographic has changed over the last 20 years, our council has changed with it.
Do you believe the people in your city, and in this case, underserved folks, have a voice right now?
I think the way the system is set up with at-large, No, I don't think they do.
Now, the judge in the ACLU's lawsuit Moreno versus the City of Anaheim has stayed the case until July 30th. The purpose is to give the Anaheim City Council more time to act on the reading of that residency district ordinance we mentioned in the story. The court wants to give the city more of a chance to adopt the ordinance in its final form. And then on the 30th, the judge will hold a special status conference to either delay the case further, potentially dismiss the case, or possibly, Ed and Ann, even send it to trial, where really it's anybody's guess on how this battle is going to play out.
All right. Always. All right. Thank you very much, David, for that.
Thanks, David.